Hi, my name is Ann Edenfield Sweet. This is our Christmas special night, December 21st, 2020. What a year it's been. But we are so happy you're with us for one last time for this year. And just a reminder that please show your faces when we get into the breakout rooms. We want to see you. We want to see those smiling faces. Mute, of course, if you're not talking or you're in our big group. Please limit any distractions that you might have. You might want to put your cell phone on vibrate or something like that. And if you've got any questions for us at all, anything you want us to know, please put it in the chat room and type it in there. And if you could register so we know who's with us tonight, that is always a wonderful thing too. So welcome to our Christmas special. This has been quite the year for all of us. And yet we are going to have Christmas. Christmas is not going to stop. And so we want to talk about it tonight. And we want to see how we can make it as special and memorable as possible. Again, I'm going to review a few things that I talked about way back in November before Thanksgiving. You might not have been with us then. And if you were, maybe you need to start to think about some of the things that I shared. So why can't you be together this year? I never dreamt in March that Christmas would roll around and we'd still be saying we cannot be with our loved ones. But maybe it's your job. How many people have to work on Christmas? I used to be a flight attendant. I was always flying on Christmas when I was so junior. Maybe the part of the country that you live in, regardless of COVID, you can't be there just because it costs too much money. You've got to work. You just can't get away. Perhaps incarceration, and incarceration is really, really difficult. And so if you've got a loved one that's incarcerated, it doesn't matter what day of the year it is, they're not going to be with you. So how are you going to bring them into the celebration? These are all important things to think about. Maybe it's health and disease. And of course, this year we're dealing with COVID. Are you worried about getting COVID? After Thanksgiving, so many people got sick. We need to be careful. There's a vaccine out now, but gee, we sure don't want anybody else sick. We don't want any more people dying. Money. It's always expensive to travel and do things. So maybe money is holding you back. Maybe you've had a death of a loved one, and your loved one will never be with you again, but how are you going to keep their memory alive? All of these things are so important. And maybe there are other things that you're dealing with. So I want you to think about all those reasons why you can't be together with loved ones, or maybe you're going to make an exception, and you will find a way to do it this year. If you're going to be home alone this year for Christmas, here are some great thoughts. Simplify your expectations. Let's not go crazy here this year. Just do something special for yourself. You're alone? What do you want to do? It's your holiday. How do you want to spend it? Build into anticipation and make a plan. So don't just wake up and say, now what am I going to do today? Start planning. What do you plan to do? It's Christmas. So are you going to get up at a certain time, make a certain breakfast? Are you going to bake a certain bread so you can have it for breakfast? How are you going to spend your day? When are you going to make phone calls to loved ones? Are you going to open your gifts at a certain time? Do you want to do it through FaceTime so everybody can see you opening the gifts? Think about it. How are you going to do it? So plan it. The more you plan, the more fun it's going to be. Be open to magic and look for those special things. What are the special things that you didn't count on? And suddenly they happened. And magic happens all the time, and all those minor little miracles that I get to see all the time. Look for those things because they're out there. Be proactive and consider virtual holiday celebrations. So how are you going to do it this year? Are you going to all open presents together, or you're going to go to somebody's house and they're going to open gifts, and then you're all going to Zoom into somebody else's house and open gifts? How are you going to do it? Talk about it and think about it. And do something unusual. Do something that you're going to remember. I did it this year. And maybe it'll be a new tradition. In fact, we're going to get into breakout rooms later, and we're going to talk about anything new that you've already been doing or planning, because we want to get those great ideas. I heard about somebody that said they used to always buy food for the homeless, and then they would box up all these boxes, and then they would go deliver them. Well, this year, instead of going to the store and spending 45 minutes or more buying all the stuff and then loading it up, and a 2-hour trek ultimately to do all the shopping and the buying, she ordered it online. Her husband went and picked up all the boxes, and they brought them home. They were all ready to go. So maybe there's some things that you could do that might simplify things from the old way that used to, well, we always did it that way. Well, maybe there's a new way of doing things that you could still be helping the homeless, you could still be doing things, but maybe you're doing it in a simplified way. A reminder about gifts for the special senior on your list. Making an album of photos. I'm going to give away a surprise that I did for my family this year. I took some family photos and I took time and I put a calendar together. So I'm giving everybody a calendar. So they've got all kinds of pictures that I took throughout the year of all the family, and they're going to be able to see that. And so then we'll always be able to keep that as a memory. So what did we do this past year that now we could put into a photograph album, or we can put it on a coffee mug, all the new ways that you can share photos. Maybe you're going to bake something special. Maybe you've always wanted to do it. Maybe you've heard about it and you thought, gee, I don't know how to make it. You could Google it these days. You could find out how to make it. Go ahead and bake something special and bake it, and maybe drop off a platter of cookies or some bread or something for some family members or some friends. I plan to do some baking tomorrow afternoon, as a matter of fact. I'm going to be making my special Swedish coffee bread. Go to visit somebody. Go to visit from outdoors. You don't have to go inside. You could just go knock at their door. Here's a platter of cookies, and spend a few minutes. Dress warmly if it's cold outside, but go visit them. Go see them. That would be wonderful. I already talked about making that calendar. Write a letter of gratitude. What are the things you are so grateful for? Another idea that I got from a good friend is writing 12 letters to family members so they can open them on the first of the month or on their birthday of each month. What makes them special? What do you remember about them? And just put some of these thoughts down. Probably those things are going to be more meaningful than any financial gift, how much millions of dollars you spend on something when you do something special for somebody. Of course, you can plan to call, you could Skype, or you could Zoom. Now, if you don't know this, Zoom is free for at least 40 minutes. And your first call on 40 minutes, they usually let you go at least an hour. All you do is go to Zoom. It's a Zoom app. You get to download it, and then you send out the link to all your friends and family, and it's free. So it's a way that you can all connect. You can do it by computer. You can do it by phone. Of course, you could donate to a charity, and we have had so many people that have donated to us. We are so grateful for all of them. And I know all the people that have supported so many wonderful charities all over this world, people that are doing wonderful, wonderful work. And we want to keep these nonprofits going because we've had to cancel all of our fundraisers this year like everybody else has. And so it's going to be up to our donors to keep us going. And so think about your charities this year and who you want to help. And maybe you can provide a social outing for somebody, even from far away. Maybe you know that grandma loves a favorite restaurant. She lives in Dallas, and she always loves, the treat is to go there. Well, get her a gift certificate. So she has a chance she can order it, go pick it up, get it delivered, and it could be something special from all of you, for grandma or grandpa or anybody that is special. So those are just a couple other ideas you might want to think about. And then it's very important when you have a loved one incarcerated. I think most of you probably know, but for those of you who don't know, my first husband went to prison. And that's why I started this whole program in the first place. And it's very, very difficult when somebody's in prison. And what do you do for the holidays? What do you do when you can't do much for them and they can't do much for you? Well, I always encourage the inmate, write a letter, do something special, draw a picture, write a poem. Those kinds of things are going to be the collector's items that are going to be far more meaningful than just something ordered, online. And how does an inmate have money? Usually it's money that you've ended up giving them through their commissary, and then they turn around and give it back. That doesn't make any sense. So think about that. What can the inmate do? For my husband, I used to always do magazine subscriptions. That was one thing that he really enjoyed. They could do that. The boys always made special little pictures and different things that we would mail in, and books. You can order books for inmates, but they have to come through a legitimate bookstore. You can't mail them in, grandma can't mail them in, they have to come from the bookstore itself. So be sure that you do that. And then when all this COVID is over, maybe you write or tell your loved one, our gift to you this year for Christmas, it's going to be belated, but we are going to come and we are going to come and stay in a hotel and we're going to spend 2 days visiting with you because we can't wait to come and see you. Come up with different ideas and ways that you could share with your loved one that's incarcerated. And for those that are incarcerated, there are all kinds of ideas that I've already given that make your Christmas special. People aren't going to be able to come in this year. Chaplains sometimes can't even go in and take you into a chapel. Sometimes they aren't even allowed in to go to visit. Sometimes it's only the correctional officers that work in that particular part of that prison. And so make up your own Christmas. You can create your own service. No one has to do it for you. Everybody can be creative and come up with something. Now, traditions. When we get into our breakout rooms, we're going to talk about traditions. I want to share traditions. Maybe you're coming up with some new ideas. So I want you to think about, what are you going to do this year? My church is not having an in-service Christmas Eve service. So how are we going to do it differently this year? I'm still going to drive around and look at luminarias. I'm still going to get out and look at all the Christmas lights. I'm still going to bake my coffee breads and my Swedish coffee breads and get those out, and I'm still going to bake cookies and get those to families. So what are you going to do? What kind of tradition are you going to keep going for yourselves this year? And then maybe you get to open one gift on Christmas Eve. Think about what you want to create. What are the traditions? And I want to learn from all of you. If you are at this late date on December 21st and you can't get anything shipped in time, and the post office is telling you it's going to cost $50 to overnight something, and you're just saying, I can't afford to do any of that, make up some coupons. We've got some samples here of coupons, but my gosh, just get a piece of paper, have the kids draw something, put it in an envelope, and you can pull one out once a month, or they can pull it out whenever you want to activate that coupon. Coupons are great things. The boys and I did it for years and years and years, and I'll probably give some coupons again this year. So think about that. So make a plan for the holidays. You've got Christmas coming up. You've got New Year's coming up. What are you going to do? Don't procrastinate. It's coming. It's already the 21st. It's going to be here. Make a list and talk about your holiday plans. What are you going to do? Review your hopes and expectations with other family members, whether they're with you in your home or they're long distance. How are you going to do this? Talk it over. Get your plan together. Write the dates on the calendar, write the times on the calendar. Maybe you aren't going to celebrate on Christmas Day. Maybe somebody is away. Maybe somebody can't be there. When are you going to celebrate? How are you going to do it? And if your agenda gets too full, which this year is one year we shouldn't get our calendars too full, but if it is, remember, what is Christmas all about anyway? Isn't it just about relaxing, enjoying family, hopefully finding time for church? Now, you could go to church all over this world if you just go and look online, and you could say, I want to go to church in Jerusalem, I want to go to church in Moscow, I want to go to church in New York City or Miami or Albuquerque. And any church service that is going to be happening on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day is probably going to be broadcast. So you could find probably any service that you wanted anywhere in the world. And what an opportunity that Zoom and all this technology has given to us. So I hope you will take time to participate in some of those worship services. And then relax and enjoy one another. That's what the holidays are all about, and I hope that you'll be doing that. Now, if you go to our website, it's Wings Fly. So I love that, Wings Fly, but the fly is FLI. It stands for forlifeinternational.org. So if you go to our website, you will find all of these things that were already put on there back at it was November the 23rd talk. You will find all of these resources. There was a Thanksgiving table talk. There's a COVID holidays. Should you sit out the holidays? There's a COVID. Should your guests take a COVID test? There's a Christmas story that will break your heart. There are Christmas and birthday gift ideas for loved ones in prison. I've got a story there, a true story about me and Christmas Eve at the city jail. And then we've got our coupons that are listed there that you can print out and give to people. We also have a December trivia question, that could be fun. You could do that online with your family on Christmas, Christmas Eve, or any time over the holidays. There are gifts for special seniors on your list. We've got blank cards that say, I'm thankful for, and you can fill those in. Ideas to make this a healthy and fun Christmas. We've got all kinds of ideas there. We got another story, A Christmas to Remember. Another story, gold wrapping paper. And 85 things to do during the Christmas season. So boy, we've got all kinds of resources. Now, I'm going to tell you what our questions are in the breakout room, because if you're home or you're on Facebook and are wondering what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about, this is going to be an unusual Christmas. What new ways have you come up with to celebrate this year? So I want you to think about that. Rose, things are going well. Thorns, oh my gosh, we got a few challenges. Rosebud, what are you looking forward to? So we're going to use the rose, thorns, and rosebud idea for our discussion. And so if you want to go ahead and join us on Zoom, you can. And then we're going to have a second talk, discuss ways that you plan to connect with your family. So how do you want to do it? And are you going to do it through technology? What kind of technology? Maybe we'll get some other ideas. Then the last thing is, what traditions are you able to maintain this year? And what new traditions have you started or plan to start? And hopefully we'll get some new ideas. So now I'm going to close with our stories for our Facebook audience. And for our Zoom audience, I want you to stay posted because we're going to go back to those questions. But first, I'm going to tell you a story, a little poem. And it's called an M&M, and these are M&M cookies. I don't know if you could see these red and green M&Ms in here or not, but the M&M Christmas poem. And here you go. As you hold these candies in your hand and turn them, you will see the M becomes a W, an E, and then a 3. They tell the Christmas story. I'm sure it's one you know. It took place in a stable a long, long time ago. The E is for the east, where the stars shone so bright. The M is for the manger, where the baby Jesus slept at night. The 3 is for the wise men bearing gifts with which they came. W is for worship. Alleluia, praise his name. So as you eat these candies or share them with a friend, remember the meaning of Christmas. It's a love that never ends. And the author is unknown on that story. And the next story I'm going to read, the author is also unknown. And this is Christmas with Love. If I decorate my house perfectly with plaid bows, strands of twinkling lights, and shiny balls, but do not show love to my family, I'm just another decorator. If I slave away in the kitchen, baking dozens of Christmas cookies, preparing gourmet meals, and arranging a beautifully adorned table at mealtime, but do not show love to my family, I'm just another cook. If I work at the soup kitchen, carol in the nursing home, and give all that I have to charity, but do not show love to my family, it profits me nothing. If I trim the spruce with shimmering angels and crocheted snowflakes, attend a myriad of holiday parties, and sing in the choir's cantata, but do not focus on Christ, I have missed the point. Love stops the cooking to hug a child. Love sets aside the decorating to kiss the husband. Love is kind, though harried and tired. Love doesn't envy another's home that has coordinated Christmas china and table linens. Love doesn't yell at the kids to get out of the way. Love doesn't give only to those who are able to give in return, but rejoices in giving to those who can't. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Video games will break. Pearl necklaces will get lost. Golf clubs will rust. But giving the gift of love will endure forever. So, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. We will be starting up our Wings for Life Zoom meetings again. Yes, unfortunately, we've got to do Zoom. But we will be starting Zoom on January the 11th. I'm going to be talking about the 40 developmental assets, kind of the basis for everything that we're trying to do to help teach cut-average behaviors and ways to strengthen families. So we want to do all of that, and we want you to join us. So for those of you that are going to stay on with Zoom, don't go away, because we're going to go to the breakouts right away. For those of you on Facebook, again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.